The girls and I did something that we hadn't did in a long time, and that's actually going somewhere for spring break. So we went to visit my aunts and get just decadently spoiled for spring break. And that was about the middle of March. So the 1st of March is when I started doing a lot of planting over in the bed. I'd already got these tomatoes under the ash tree put in. So this is a long kind of meandering video, and sometimes the sound isn't so great. So if you're bored and you're maybe crocheting, or you've got a lot of things to do with your hands and you need something to distract you, this is a good video for you, so check it out. I definitely would say that phase 1 of spring planting is underway. So it really started last week, which was the last week of February. And I got this 6-pack of Champions, which is like a hybrid. It's a pretty good size tomato. I've had Champions before, and so testing out this area. I've had tomatoes do pretty well over here under the tree, not in ground, only in containers, and then something else went on with tomato from there. So that's kind of the first thing I planted, really, were these Champions. And you can see this disarray of buckets and stuff is because I'm now having to cover them at night, because here in the first week of March we're getting our temperatures dropped some, and so I've got some low 40s coming up at the end of this week in the forecast. And so in my yard sometimes that can be even a little bit cooler, so I'm covering them up just to give them a little bit of extra protection, and we're hoping to see them through. I got my bed all finished up over here, and now we're, as a part of phase 1 planting, we're going to put in some salad greens and some carrots and radishes. Now, most of the planting calendars are not going to be calling for salads right now, but I know the salads that I have, and I know that this space gets a lot of shade, and by getting them in here right in the first week of March, then we still have all of March, all of April. So that's like 2 months. That's 60 days. So we can get some lettuces up in that time. And then as they start to fade away, I'm also going to have lettuces go in this bed. And this bed gets quite a bit of shade. It also gets some morning sun, which is the good sun that we want. And then as this jasmine right here fills in, it's becoming more and more of a shade spot for this bed. So I'm noticing down here, this is weird. This bed is, I just turned over this bed a week or so ago, and I didn't add anything to it in the way of like other soils. This is all just its own soil, but if you I don't know if you can see it, but in the bed there's like just so many like little seedlings coming up. So this will be real curious to see what this is. This bed used to have formerly it had some chamomile in it that went to seed. And it had some Lachinto kale that went to seed, and I don't know what else, so it'll be interesting to see what comes of this. So this will be kind of my plan B for salads, different little leafy greens to make salads with. So let's get to planting. Oh, and then I mentioned the carrots. So carrots don't take very long, and I'm doing really kind of more shorty varieties now. Carrots are on the planting calendar just a little bit still, a little lingering there. And radishes are like 25 days. So you can really have a lot of fun with radishes in the spring, even though, again, kind of a more traditionally fall winter crop. But they do kind of like a warmer soil, and when it's warmer soil, they really, will pop off in their germination. So we're going to get all set up here and get to planting. So we've got carrots on the outer edge, except for like right there. I accidentally went too far with my French breakfast radishes. So there's French breakfast radishes on the inside lip, the yellow Uzbek golden on the outside edge, and then right here we're gonna get a planting, our first planting of some greens. So let's see. We love, let's see how many I have. So we're going to probably get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9. So I think I'm going to do two 12 squares. Because it's a 12 by 12, so we're going to call it a 12 by 12. So I'm going to do two 12 by 12s of this green romaine. And, if I planted it at the right time and perfect conditions, maybe it would grow like up and form a head the way that, the way that romaine does in a grocery store. But we tend to just like use it as a cut and come again, so it doesn't ever get a chance to get super big in our garden. And if you're wondering why it looks like I'm kind of patting these holes, it's because I am, because that was a lot, because my dipper, this little dipper thing, is 1 inch, and kind of a little fault I feel like in this thing is that to get, for the depth of this is 1 inch. So you almost have to go down 2 inches to get 1 inch, and then you have no way to tell, like a 1/4 inch, a 1/2 inch. So I basically use these just like as a little guide, knowing that I could go back in and make the holes the way that I wanted them to be. See, and I did that with too deep, so I just did more on top of it. So that way we kind of get. So I like this. Now you could totally just like literally just wildly throw these seeds in here. And as time goes on and I get more things going on, I probably will just be coming in here and periodically just throwing down things that I want to repeat. But right now, just for the fun of it, I want to kind of bring a little bit of order to the things. So an easy way to do that and get some spacing is this great little tool, really designed for square foot gardening. But it's an easy way to, get some nice spacing on things. And that's what I want in the beginning, because last year this bed was so wild and crazy with the cherry tomato, that I just want to be, like I said, a little bit more uniform to begin with, and then as things get crazy, I'll just throw stuff in here. So this year we're going to just do 2 slicer tomatoes. And if you are not new to my channel, you know that I love Cherokee purples. So that will be one of them. And then I'm going to try something new to me. I think I have the seeds for it. But I think it's like a pink Berkeley tie-dye, or just a pink Berkeley. And so then I'm going to do my cherry tomatoes out in the yard where I can get them on a good trellis. That way if they go crazy, cross your fingers, then, you know, who cares? They're not taking up an entire bed, and, you know, because there was all kinds of things planted in this bed alongside of that, but, you know, the tomato really choked it out. And then, the tomato really choked it out, and some things just didn't survive that, and anything that did we could barely get to, so it was just kind of pointless anyway. So we'll put this down as like our guide right there, and then we'll put this kind of right here, and we're gonna move on down. We're gonna get, so I noticed as I was moving back the leaves, because I put the leaves on here last week after I got the bed set, and it was really nice because you can see where I watered was really staying nice and moist, and that's exactly what you want your you know, your topper, your mulch to do. But I did notice kind of around the edges here that you know, that was obviously where it was starting to already kind of dry out quickly. So that's why I'm kind of going in about an inch or so, I want to say. That's about. So I'll do my best to keep it even, but I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna stress myself out over it. And hopefully this keeps me from having to, you know, what do you call it? Have to kill so many babies. My line. I can go here. And I would say this almost kind of even goes a little bit faster than just using your finger. And I used to have like a little tool that I used. It wasn't a tool, it was just something I kind of upcycled that was like the size of a pencil. And, but this makes it go pretty fast. And I don't have to guess every single time like how many holes, because this already has it lined out. And I got this as a gift, so they didn't send me this. I'm not paid by them. I'm just telling you about it, because if you're a novice gardener or you're doing this square foot gardening, you know, this is like I said, a really great way to keep up. So now Smart Me is going to do this time so that I don't have to go back and refund my lines. And the next carrot we will do, we'll do some more radishes. So this is a sparkler radish. The French breakfast I didn't say, but they're kind of long and more like a cylinder, with the white on the bottom and the red on the top. These are the more what you think of traditional radish, with just the white bottoms and round. So we're going to get them going. And you'll see in a minute, I'll go ahead and tell you so that, you know, if I get involved in doing it. Oop, I need that. I almost planted radishes in that hole. I'm get distracted. See, trying to jump ahead to my next task. But if I don't tell you and I get caught up because I have to go or something, then I'm going to take an old sheet and I'm going to put it on top of all of this, and then I'm going to put a little bit of the leaves back on it just until I can get this, until I can get them to sprout, because if you've ever grown carrots, they can kind of be willy-nilly about wanting to come up. So I'm going to put the sheet down, and that's going to, and it's just because they really want to be in a wet environment. So I have 5 more of these. So we'll go with the red cord chentene, I believe is what that, how you say that. This is a packet that I got from the seed library. I've got some videos about that. You can kind of search on my main video tabs page. Oop. Felt like a bunch of seeds just fell out right there. How the heck does that happen? Well, that was a total bummer. I opened the end that I thought would be where you get to the seeds, and they had just folded over this lip, and so it's like all the seeds just dropped. And I don't know where they went. So there's going to be a huge cluster of red core chutneys, and like I said, they came from the library, so but those are gone. So now we're going to move on to the rainbow, and these all came from like a multi-seed pack, and these are actually some of the first seeds I ever bought, so I guess we should take that into consideration as far as like them actually coming up too. So it was just like it was one of those where it had 4 different kinds of carrots in it, and I don't know, I usually don't take my time with carrots, so I haven't had a ton of success. I've had pretty good success with radishes though, because they're real easy, and like I said, they're really fun because they get you really excited to grow stuff because they start coming up and you're like, yes, I'm doing something right. Even though you may not be, because they're so easy and they're so forgiving that, they'll make you feel like you're hot stuff. And you are, and if your first growing season, what you can grow successfully is a ton of radishes, then grow a ton of radishes. Who cares? Make that your success thing. So we got rainbow carrots, we got sparkler radishes. Now we're going to go back in and get another lettuce, and next up we're just going to go from the box this time. But this time we're only going to do 12. We're going to do 112. And this is a black seeded Simpson. And this is a pack that I got from the Great American Seed Up. And they still host their seed ups in October. But they also have now online where you can buy from them. I think you kind of mostly have to buy like a big pack. But their concept around having those big packs, where it's multiple seeds, it's not just like one big pack of a bunch of seeds. But the concept is that you will share them with your neighbors, or like maybe a Girl Scout troop, or even a classroom. Like you could donate some to a classroom, or you could go in with a bunch of your friends, your gardening group, and maybe split up the order. These seeds are tiny but pokey. So they're still ending up getting, a couple of seeds to the hole, but with lettuces, who cares? Because even if they grow in like really kind of bushy, that's great because then you've got more that you can cut and put in your bowl for a yummy, yummy, tasty salad. So my girls love being able to come outside and cut their own fresh salad. It's a real treat for them. So they are very excited for me to get back to. I guess I'm really using these now. So they're really excited for me to get back to a space where they can come out and get seeds. Now this is another free pack that I'm gonna try because I am starting to get really, I don't know, just kind of exploring a lot of different things, to because I'm not using salt in my dishes, and so I'm really trying to explore a lot of different things to create different flavor profiles that aren't just in that. And this Mizuna is a little, I think it's kind of similar to what do you call it, arugula. And I recently had some arugula on a breakfast sandwich, and it was really, really great. So I'm also going to be planting some of that. But we're going to give some of this a little try. And, just something to add to your bowl. And if these all kind of come up at different times, that's great because then we've got different salads available at different times. And that's the cool thing about the kind of cut and come again too, is that if you used up your romaine this week, well then you move on to, maybe your black seeded Simpson, and then, then give your romaine like a week or two to come back, and then you go cut from it, and then in the meantime the black seeded Simpson is coming back. So it's pretty fun, and when it's done, it's done, and it'll they'll have a little stalk shoot up from the middle of them, and that's going to be the flower stalk. And since I'm planting all of these things so close together, and so many different varieties, this is not an ideal seed saving situation, but when a lettuce or maybe even a carrot that you missed goes to seed, you can for sure just let it go through that whole process until it gets its seeds, and then you let the seeds dry on the plant, and then boom, you've got your own seeds of that plant. But with this all being so close together, then it's likely going to get a lot of cross-pollination going on. So we could have some rad carrots or radarots, and then a lot of different crazy mixes with the lettuces. So we won't be saving seeds, but we're going to eat a lot of lettuce, and that's going to be good for us. Now we can just kind of keep our pattern going, where we start with the radishes. So this is a rainbow blend of radishes. So it'll be fun to see. It looks like from this picture right here that we can get some white lens, some different variations of red. So this will be fun. It should be really fun because, like I said, they're really easy. Oh, let's see if that's a phone call or if it's a timer. Then we might have to come to a stopping point. That, unfortunately, was a timer, so we're gonna have to wrap it up after this one. But there's no way we can leave it just like this, so we're gonna have to finish it up.